right, we are back. Welcome back to Pro Bikini News Network. I'm your host, John Algandi. And in today's video, we're going to recap the Prague Pro and preview the East Coast Pro and the Utriami Pro. Utriami, I believe that's it's a funny name. I think that's a supplement company out in Spain. But so we're going to review those two. It was such an exciting weekend because Martin Fitzwater defeated Samson Dowd, the Mr. Olympia winner. I mean, that was just unbelievable. And in fact, I'm actually wearing his shirt. Let me see. Wait. You can see that signature right there. Right? This was his debut Olympia shirt from last year from Hostile when he got fourth. That's the four is for. And on the back, obviously, I'd have to take the whole shirt off to show you the design, but I'll do that some other time. But yeah, I mean, so the Russia show, I did not know anybody on the list. I did know Alessia, but the girl that won, Lydia, I think her name is Lydia. She won her on her pro debut, and she's doing a show this weekend. So I'm gonna say I think it's the Kazakhstan show. I think she's doing. So I would assume that she could most likely win that because with her win, she most likely will qualify there. New Zealand Pro, we have not many names that I recognize, but I do know Kate Carroll, so I would say that she's going to be with her. So I didn't want to preview shows that I didn't know many more than like one or two people in. If I know a couple people that or I've seen them, I'll talk about it. So that's why I'm only going to do shows from now on where it's like I recognize the names until like they make a name or like and I know who they are. I've seen them in like top fives, then I'll talk about them. So we're going to recap Prague first. So let's go with our fifth place finisher, which was Allison. So I mean, this show was hard to look at. You know, I didn't buy the stream, but the pictures look good. But the red background, it takes away from the athletes. You know, when you do red and orange, like when I looked at the picture when I had with Courtney King and like Janet when they were doing Prague, it was like a it was like a dark black back. Like they can do that so much better. I mean, it was just kind of taken away. But so if people had like red or pink suits, it would be hard to see anything. I mean, Allison's makeup here, I think she can minimize it because the red, I'm looking at her face first, and then the suit, it blends in too much, and also with the tan. But this was a good look. This was a good look for me. You do see vascularity in her arm. Um, her front's pretty good here. You do see a little more lines. I do think she just came in a little too lean here, so that's kind of my take. That's kind of what I think will cause her because the first call out the top five, top four, it got interchanged. I think the Patriza girl who was in that top four and she wound up getting sixth, and then Allison overtook her at the finals. So I mean, like I said, I think they did judging where they only had five judges on the panel, so maybe they had to look at them due to a final confirmation and see if they got it right. But for here, I just think she's a little like you can see vascularity going down her. So just I think for her, she needs to find a way to like come in full and not too lean and not too soft. So that's just what I see from the front. I mean, I like Allison in like a purple or blue suit, preferably, because there's too many red suits. Okay, let's check her back pose. This is a pretty good back pose. I would crop her hair just above her lower back. Shoulders are good. I just do think she comes in, like I said, I think she comes in way too lean, way too hard. That's kind of what affects her. But she's got a beautiful physique. It's just, and it's amazing physique. But I just feel like that's kind of what hurts her sometimes is, you know, trying to nail that like European look versus trying to nail like the U.S. look. And you know, I just feel like you should bring a U.S. look and try to do U.S. And she was a top girl many years ago. But and it's just finding a way to like balance that all out. So, like I said, I feel like I would have picked a different suit color. I mean, one thing I always recommend is look at this. If like, don't just rely on your own signature suit because you don't know what the stage colors are going to be. Like at the USA's, they had purple, and or Nashville, they had purple. It's like you don't want to be blended too in, or like green at one show. You have to at least bring two suits and at least find something that's like those are your colors. Even if it's red and blue, and like you could get a red or blue, just you know what to do, like how to change it up. I mean, I know some girls like change their suits at finals, but it's kind of like they already made the call at the prejudging. So prejudging wants something that you could see that stage and you know what to look like. But like I said, this was good for her, you know, to be in the top five spot, you know, collect a point and you know continue to go forward. But I definitely think it's her just nailing the right look at the right show in the right lineup, and that's kind of what I think Allison needs to pick, choose shows better. She did win this show, I think, 4 years ago. So yeah. Next up was Nora. So I think she took like third or fourth last show, I believe. Um, Blonde hair, pink suit, not a good choice. I would pick, for her, I would do like purple, green. I would like a see, like I said, blondes and green look really good. The pink makeup, I kind of like it's so pink, and then you have this reddish background. It takes away. It's making you look too washed out. Um, this is a good front pose on her. I do think she is a bit. You can do see like she is a bit tad too hard, too lean right here. Something you see of European competitors just needs to find a way to fill this out. I mean, from her front, she's kind of flaring a bit. You could see how it's like going right here, kind of like like an Issa kind of a look um, from 2019 Issa. But it does look good when she just needs like I think she just needs a little more upper glute right here. But this is a good front pose on her. I just think, like I said, I think that's something you're going to see in these shows as that the European competitors come in too lean too hard, and this is what they show up looking like. But I mean, I don't know how her state. I didn't get to see the show, but I mean, for her to like move up into the top four placings and to do well, I mean, that's pretty. That's good for her, and also to continue to progress. And I just think for her, she needs to just fill out, and just not come in too hard, too lean. And the shoes are fine. This back pose is pretty good. Um, She's a small waist in the back. I just think it's her foot positioning. I don't know if it's maybe the angle as well, but it feels like she's leaning too much on her right side versus her left side, which kind of makes it look imbalanced. Like I said, she needs to fill out her upper glutes here. Suit cut's fine, just needs to like fill out her upper glutes so it doesn't look like she's flat up the top. Uh, I think it's her. Yeah, I do think it's her foot positioning that's hurting her here. The hair, the cut in the back's good. Shoulders are good. I do think maybe she could bring her shoulders a little bit down because I'm looking at her left one's much bigger than her right. But overall, good. It's just like back is solid. It's just her front. She looks too hard, too lean, and she just needs to come in like not way too tight. Right. Third, we had Sarah. Again, a thing we see with girls in Europe is that they come in way too lean, way too hard. For her, she just needs more glutes. I could just tell from how it is. I mean, she's got a small waist and like amazing physique, but you're seeing some like bicep right here in there. Um, like definitely hardness in her leg. You could see that quad sleeve from the front. I do think she just needs to adjust her front pose a bit, and this arm positioning is kind of like she's like lifting up like that. Hair's fine. It's not too glaring a thing, but one thing I just think she needs to work on is just working on her glutes. All right, like I said, back pose solid. Um, she's way too tight in her hamstrings. You could definitely see like it getting a little too etched in. Tie-ins are solid. Just needs more glutes. This hair, it's good. It could be a little brushed down, so it's not like a little like messy at the bottom tips. You can definitely see some like strands going on around here. Waist is small and snatched. She's proportionate at the top, but it feels like lower body wise. She just needs something. She just needs to fill it out so that if she finds a way to like nail the peak and fill out, it definitely helps her out. This suit cut's fine on her. It's not too sheer, but overall, this is solid from her. This is all. I mean, she is an Olympian, so I definitely think going into her first Olympic experience and see how it's like. And she has competed in the U.S., so definitely trying to find ways to like nail her look and definitely improve on that. I mean, she is a young competitor, so I definitely think she continue to learn from this and get better. She does have short glute insertions, so one thing is just continuing to work on her glutes and continuing to being better stage presence and confidence, because sometimes I think for her she gets a little nervous in certain lineups, so and that kind of affects how she may place. But if she nails it, definitely someone who can be some great in the future. Let's see, go to second. So our second place finisher was Victoria. She just won a pro show last week, so she needed one more to qualify, and she is a top Olympian. So I mean, this is her first season as a pro after turning pro this year. She's had a great year so far, but I feel like between her and first place, still needs to bring down her shoulders. Still needs to just fill out her physique. She is a little tall, so I think she's like 5'5", 5'6". So I know she's a little taller than Jazzy, but for her, she just needs to find a way to like bring her shoulders down and not come in way too lean. You can definitely see that. You can definitely see some lines in like her hamstrings and um I think one thing I'd also recommend is her suit front cut. It's just a little too low because she has a longer torso. It's I would prefer like a scoop for her versus like a V cut, and her connectors are way past her, like her iliac crest. So I would just get with a different suit company so it could show this better. I would put her connector like at least right here, and obviously get a different like front coverage so it doesn't look like you're gonna get a wardrobe malfunction. So, but overall, this is like it's a good. She's got a pretty look. This is a good front pose on her. I just think a little too lean. She does plan to compete, and I do think that she knows that she's going to qualify, so she's going to plan on 2 more shows. So I think she'll be doing shows not this week, but like next week. Right, back. I mean, this is good. I think it's not. We didn't have. We only had like one good back pose and one good front pose. So I do think she's not really in her back pose in this one. As you can, I kind of see her like tilting. So this is like the best we got. You can kind of tell like she's about to like shift her positioning. But from what I can see here, shoulders got to be brought down. Fix the hair. That's what I would recommend. Come in like just a little bit more fuller. She's just a little too tight here. But this is overall solid. This is overall pretty good. This is overall pretty good for her. I just feel like in front she just looked way too lean, and then back way too hard. She just needs to find a way to just balance that out. I mean, she can win a show. She can qualify again. One thing is just balancing out the physique. Like sometimes I feel like her upper body overtakes her lower body, and if she just brings these shoulders down, it can definitely balance out. So it's like I'm not looking at that thing first. But overall, this is good on her. I mean, I like the blue suit on her. I think she should stick with that. She did do green suit, so I think blue and green should be her colors. In our first place winner, we had Jazzy. So we had Jazzy winning the show. I mean, when I look at how she presents her physique, she looks the most relaxed in her front pose. When they were doing comparisons, she probably had the best front pose of everybody. This is great for her to do a European show to like set this standard and do the criteria. I like the green suit on her. I think I would stick. I would stick with the green suit. I would stick with blue as well. She has done red before, but like blue and green, I think are her colors. And she did win her pro card actually in green suit, and she actually wore this at the Olympiad. She's the best in the world. So overall, I mean, probably the best. Like I said, best front pose with like the least flaws in it, and that's obviously why it carried her over to win. But from the back, she's like well proportionate, well balanced snatch. Um, she did fill out her glutes this time, and honestly, I think this would have been much better from the Olymp. She did improve from the Olympia, so if she brings this into whatever show she's doing, I don't think it's going to be hard for anybody to beat her. And I'm looking forward to seeing what she's going to do, and I'm looking forward to seeing what she can accomplish. But balance out physique really well. Tie-ins are there. It's hard to see, especially with this backdrop. Like I have to look closely at the physique so I can tell what's going on because of the dark red and the tan. And if someone has a red suit, it's hard to look at. But overall, solid package for Jazzy. She is going to compete this weekend again in Spain, so I definitely think she's going to be the tough girl to beat. I don't see her coming in off. I don't see her, if she is a little off, probably would it would be enough to win. But I feel like if she's asked to, if you could tell if Jazzy's at least a good 10-15% off. It's noticeable, and that's when she drops things. But honestly, this was like really good, like peak, really good look from her, and I'm happy to see what she's going to do and bring. All right, so that was our weekend recap. We're going to get into our two shows. So let me see how I did for Prague. So I had the top two girls right, and most girls were at least a couple places off. I think her name was Nadalku, who I think got second at a previous show, and she dropped to 14. She was outside the top 6, outside the top 10. Luca, she's with like fourth in a couple shows. She was just at the 50 place. I didn't see Lorin, so she was a no-show on the scorecard. So I was kind of right for most of these girls. So, I mean, it wasn't too far off. I mean, Sarah had her lower, but she got third. I kind of have like Rania in that third to eighth place, so she got seventh. Allison got fifth. Patricia got sixth. Nora fourth. So I think I know my stuff. So 72%. So yeah. Anyways, we'll get into previewing. Well, let's go to Spain. Let's go. Let's do this. I find the name Nutriyummy kind of funny. So we did talk about Jazzy. We did talk about, let's look at Rania. I say she's one of those girls who's going to be in that top 3, top 5 spot. It's just difficult based on how her structure is. And this is not knock on anything. It's just how the physique looks. Let's see. Goes backstage. Let's see stage photo. Like she poses very well, but it's just the waist. It's sometimes coming in way too hard and too muscular. So Rania is one to be looking out for. Chantal Hill, she's always getting like second in shows in Europe. She just did the Olympia. I think from what I'm seeing here, it was her tan and she's just a little too hard. One thing I noticed about a lot of times when she's getting second, she's just a little too vascular. It just needs more glutes. Got a beautiful look. Yeah, she had to bring her legs down because her quads were too overpowering. So, I mean, she's someone I could see getting second, third, fourth, like second to fifth. Irene, she's done well. She gets like top 7s in US shows, and she gets better. I think she's better with US criteria versus in Europe. This show, she took third. This is one of her best placings ever. Let's see if I can get a stage. I think the pink suit's fine on her with her hair and her skin tone. She does do red, and she has done green in the past. Here we go. She's got great stage presence. You always see her smiling. And as long as she brings that confidence to the Spain show, she is at home. So I definitely could see her, being those top spots and, challenging Jazzy. I don't know if it's enough to overtake Jazzy, but I definitely think that it's something that's going to be up there. I definitely think she has the right proportions. She has the right symmetry, everything that you want in a competitor. I do think she needs to just, when she's walking back, I do think she needs to just fix her posing list a little bit in the back, but that's, I'd say, one to be looking out for. Anyone else that I know of? I mean, I picked those four as the ones I recognize. So I'm not going to do a top 10, top 5, because I don't know many of the other competitors. I haven't seen them in top 5 placings, but I do recognize those four. All right. And then let's talk about our show of the weekend, East Coast Pro. So looking at it, half the girls here are Olympians. And, I think 6 of them just were on the Olympia stage. So, I mean, our front runner is most likely going to be Evie Escobar and Maria Acosta. It's funny because people said that, they're short, they look alike. I mean, they have competed against each other in the past. It's always like one or the other. So, obviously our front runner is going to be Evie. She just took 7th at the Olympia, got in the first call out. And honestly, from Pittsburgh this year, I felt like that was one of the best she ever looked. And I was like, man, if she continues that trajectory, she's going to be someone that's going to be hard to beat. I mean, she has the most pro wins that is out of anyone right now. Is the suit like pinkish red? I know Evie from her red suit. She has done blue and green in the past. See here. Here we go. She has won shows in the U.S. I think she's won Legion. She won also Atlanta. So, when she's in U.S. shows, she's doing very well. She's getting like top 2, top 3 against like some of the top girls. So that's why I feel like she's a really good contender. And I always believed that she could be the first call out or make the top 10. And she did that this year. So I'm thinking that she's the one to beat. And as long as she doesn't come in way too lean, she's the one to take it. Okay, second, we got Maria, another top Olympian, got 4th at the Arnold. First call out last year, and she got top 10. She was ninth this year. Yeah. Because of her last name, she's always going to be the first one going up. So she has to come out and just nail it from the moment she walks out. And then also when they go through rounds of pros, keeping her fullness. She is the shortest competitor. So I think she's about 1-2 inches shorter than Evie, but they almost look alike with the dark hair, red suits. But she's such an excellent poser. So I'd say, it's a toss up between her and Evie, whoever nails it. But, we could have some surprises as well, and we'll get to those other competitors. Okay. We have Xin Yi, who just took second. Let me find from her. I think individual. No. This is not the. Let's see. You're not going to front and back. I think I have it on my page. Like her front just needs to be fixed a bit, and then her back just needs to come in fuller, and I just need to make sure like she doesn't look too wellness like. Let me see. No, this is from almost from the Olympia week. Like I said, she got an amazing physique, amazing genetics, and those girls from Asia have amazing structures. Let's see here. Like this was before the stage, but honestly, if she brought this would be somebody that's hard to go against. So that's going to be hard because she's long glute inserts, snatch waist, great proportions, great tie-ins right here. I just think has her posing that could be the detriment to her. Like if she just fixes her posing and nails it, especially from front, like you could see, like she's here next to Amy. She's like a little too lean. She needs to be a little more upright. You have Sharon, who just won a pro show. She just won Brazil. Anything from the stage? It was hard to like look at this stage because it was just too dark. But in terms of stage presence, in terms of posing, she's excellent at that. It's just like nailing the conditioning part. So I'd say that she's one to be looking after, and she could probably be someone who can pull up an upset. So then we got Yulia. All right, so Yulia's one to be looking after. Like I could see Yulia at least doing well against. I could see Yulia taking third. I think she can get maybe. I could see her in that third, fourth spot, like her and Zinyi, like right there with each other. Just who's gonna show up better. Yeah, she could pull surprises. Ashley Hampton, and I always felt like Ashley has potential, like to be, like I could see her in a couple years, like placing and then moving up to the top 10. She's got an amazing physique. It's just about her nailing it. Yeah. Okay, Ashley Hampton. Alessia. She just took second in the Russia show. Anything from the show? I felt like these girls came in way too hard. But yeah, this is that Lydia girl who's going to be doing that Kazakhstan show. Got a beautiful look. I like the suit on her. But like you see a lot of this, like those Slavic country girls, like from Slovakia, from Russia, from Ukraine, Serbia. I don't know if there's anyone from Serbia or anything like, but those like I kind of noticed when they or like I think what was her name, that Alina girl. I think she's in this show actually, but they just come in way too conditioned, way too hard. Like you can see like they're so hard on their abs, too etched in. You can see lines, you can see his quad splits. Like even like Valeria, who I believe is retired officially. Just look up close. You see quad splits. Like that would not fly in a U.S. show. Like that would not be awarded. Go back. Okay, we got. So I think we covered our half the lineup, which was Olympians. Oh yeah, this is Jackie Ignacio's pro debut. She turned pro Universe this year, and I noticed I was like, I recognized her. I was like, you go to DMV Iron. I'm like, oh wow, that is you. I'm like, I think she goes to the Falls Church location. I think actually no, this is the Maryland location, but she goes to one of them, and I'm like, I recognized her like right away, and I'm like, I could tell when, like she's someone who's going to be a pro even before the show. I was like, I'm like you. I'm like, is that you? I'm like, oh, it is you. Like that's awesome. That's awesome that someone that's local here is, doing her debut and competing against top girls. I mean, I think she's from Maryland. So, and it's like a 3-5 hour, it's like almost a 5-6 hour trip up north. So, hey, that's great. They don't have many shows up in the Northeast outside of like Pittsburgh and New York Pro. All the shows are like in Florida and Texas, but let me see from Universe. I can only judge from her amateur look, but but she's obviously brought more improvements to that. So here we go. But I won't say much about her, but just wanted to let her do her thing. But she did win her class. So that's one to be looking out for. Then Daniela from Venezuela. She turned pro at Colombia. I think she's been like top 5 in shows. I think she got top 5 at her debut. She's always like in the top 10 spots, first call outs. See. Just needs to be more tighter. Just a little more. Yeah, she just needs to be more tighter. You could tell. It's hard with this red. Like, I'm happy that there's a red-white contrast. But next year, I mean, the Dominican Republic show was actually really nice, but I feel like they could be a little better. I mean, it was their first one, so the screens, man, takes away the look. And then I'm gonna say Tanya. She got top 6. In first call out at a show in the past. It was Arizona. How many stage photos from her? Here you go. All right. I think that's all the girls I'm going to talk about. So then let's get into top 10 for East Coast. Okay, let's do. So I'll go Evie, Maria, go Zinyi, Julia, Sharon, Ashley, Hampton. Gonna go Alessia, Jackie, go Tanya, and we go Daniela. Like, I do think I think this is a good top 5, but I'll be surprised of who can beat out who. They could swap places easily from first to third, from second to fifth, from fourth. It could go either way for these two. I do see if someone is not at their best, or someone doesn't bring something like a nailed peak. I do see someone that can be from sixth. I do see someone from like 6th, 7th, probably moving up. All right. So that's all I have for today. Tomorrow I have my Q&A where you guys submit questions. I'm going to give you answers. I got some really good ones. One that I'm definitely going to be posting about because I've been seeing it come up a lot lately, and it does kind of concern me. You know, I do work with athletes, I do coach athletes, but I've always I've always wanted the best, and I've always want to give great advice to people, especially when they're coming up in the sport. So I'm happy to get into that. When this video is posted, probably Wednesday, I'll have Q&A for Thursday. I did have an interview for Wednesday, but the person had a basketball game to go to, so I'm probably going to have her on maybe next week or Thursday, and then do recording, do editing, and have that posted the following week. I'm hoping to bring out more guests, as the shows go on. But next week we have such a busy week with 4 shows, especially with Romania. Iron Games is going to be another big one. I don't know, fall weather's kind of getting to me, and it's almost getting winter, so that's why you kind of like see me with a napkin. But yeah, I'm excited to see this week. I'm excited to see, especially East Coast Pro. I was upset that one of my teammates did not want to do the show, and he just felt like he just wanted more time off, and he feels like he's going to do something later in the year. So I'm looking forward to seeing what they can do and how this whole season goes. And so, yeah, please like, subscribe, share with your friends, and I'll see you guys next week.